Welcome to the Life Podcast, where we figure out frameworks to live the most fulfilling life possible. I share these thoughts and ideas from the lens of philosophy, observation, and critical thinking. My name is Jabadiomi, and I'll be your companion on your self-improvement journey. Please share and enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Jabadiomi. Normally, I'm not supposed to do this intro anymore because technically, I already have an intro. But I developed the intro when I wanted to start podcasting, like when I wanted to do my first few episodes. So the intro is like reflex at this point. You know, I just say then I want to start recording, but I'm just going to leave it in it just for the vibes of it. So I know you're thinking it's been a while, like we haven't done anything. I've really released one podcast this year. How many videos have I released this year? I think one. I've released one video this year. I won't lie to you, the videos. I'm not even. It's not something I'm like thinking about, to be honest, because those videos I have actually like recorded them to like last year August. So I know there's not like I just did it recently, so I won't count that. So I've really done one podcast this year, and okay, I have like 3 articles I've written, like 4 blog posts. I'll call them blog posts and articles. I've written 4 blog posts. I'm doing this Ponder piece stuff. Like it's like quotes version 2, I guess, but like it's longer and everything. At this point, I don't even know where I put my content. I can just be like one day, you know what? Let's do a video with this. Let's do a podcast with this. Let's write with this. You know, let's do a quote with this. Well, I mean, I just have to do it though. So, and I actually know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing, I guess. But yeah, let's just get into the episode. I drafted these episodes like beginning of the year, definitely. So, before I start, I want to dedicate this episode to Lanre. Yeah, it was a friend of mine. We weren't close, so I'll just clarify that we weren't close, but it was a friend. It was a friend of mine, and he died recently. He died beginning of this year. So that was what prompted me to actually draft up this episode. So yeah, I'm just going to dedicate this to him. You know, rest in peace. I hope he lived for something. And where have I been since August? I've been in a creative rut. So like I actually wrote I'll talk about it in another episode, but these days I really don't know when the next episode is going to be. It's been very stressful. I won't say very stressful. I'll just say very time consuming. Cause I'm in my finals. I've been in my finals since last year, but like I'm in my final 2 months. So projects and school and like wrapping things up, stuff like that. So I've just been a bit busy and money. I've been feeling that money then, so I'm just going to pour my heart out on this, and I hope people can relate and understand where I'm coming from. So let's just talk about money and legacy. Or before that, about how I've been in a creative rut. Like I said, I haven't actually recorded a video since August. I don't know why. I've just been not feeling it. Like creativity is kind of something that you feel. I know there are debates of like schedules and structures and do this and do that, like have a content calendar. My last episode, I said I was going to take content calendar. To be honest, I haven't actually done the content calendar. It's like I don't want to base content as like something structured. I want to base content as something you feel and you express. You feel and you express. The people that base content on structure are people that are getting paid for it. I am not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for writing anything. My Substack is free. I mean, I even just moved from Substack. I didn't move from Substack per se, but like I have a version of Substack on my personal website, which is for free. Like you can just check it out by yourself. And then my podcast is free. My videos are free. My quotes are free. My tweets are free. My everything is free. To be honest, I'm not making money from anything. There's no like ad, whatever. I'm not sponsored by anybody. You know. So like I feel no need. I feel no need to structure it up. I feel no need to like pop out and pop out and pop out. I like to create stuff when I feel I need to create stuff. I like to say stuff when I feel I need to say stuff. Don't just be writing redundancies or recording redundancies. I need to feel it, then I create it. That's right. That's the way it is. And sometimes you can speed up that process, but like being introspective and taking some time off and observing things and jotting them down. But I haven't had time to do that, because like I said, I'm busy. But I always feel the need to feed the streets, and this is me feeding the streets right now. So yeah, I guess that's that. But let's just go into the episode. Let's talk about money and legacy. Okay, I think I basically just talked about not creating for a moment, and then now I want to start creating, and like how could I conform to just doing nothing and stuff like that. So yeah, having a good year and throwing it all away for money, and decided to dedicate my 2025 to money. How is that going right now? Dedicate my 2025 to money. To be honest, I think I've really like balanced out, and like money is important, so like creating is also important. So I've like just balanced both of them out right now. But before beginning of the year, beginning of the year, you have goals, you have expectations, you have things you tell yourself, things you want to do, things you would think you would do, but you would later not do because you just realize that you're not the kind of person to do them. It's a very. So I just realized that my mic hasn't been recording for uh 8 minutes. I just rambled to the world for 8 minutes without any record of it. But you know what? The universe is trying to tell me something to keep it short. So I'm just going to repeat what I said. If I can remember what I said, I'm going to repeat that and then I'll just like make it clear and stuff like that. So I listened to the other one that I just recorded, like the way it cut off. And I was talking about how money is important and stuff like that. So is money a societal construct? Yes and no. Is it required to have your best life? I would say that money is required to have your best life. So the question I asked myself before this one cut off was like, if money wasn't an object for me, would I still be doing what I'm doing right now? So, my creative pursuits, I do not make money from it. I don't make money from podcasts. I don't make money from any videos or like writing and stuff like that. So it's something I do just on my own free will, right? The where I make my money from is from software, from like my programming aspect. And if money wasn't an object, I would still be programming because it's something I actually like to do. So, programming is like a creative pursuit on its own. It's like creating software, creating things through technology. So it's still something that I would do myself. Now, you need to ask yourself the question that if money wasn't an object, would you be doing what you are doing right now? And you might have an answer of yes, you might have an answer of no, you might have an answer of you're still working on it and stuff like that. You're not sure yet. And yes, if you're doing a job, let's say if you're doing a job in accountant, you're an accountant in accountancy, or you're an accountant, and you like to create lip glosses or like you like the fashion scene, you don't have to just drop your job at the bank or like wherever you're working just to go and start making lip glosses. You could balance the both of them together. I do software and I do like podcasts and videos and pictures and whatever. I try to balance the both of them up, even though I like the both of them to be honest, but I try to balance them up. I just try to get them working together. And I feel you should do the same because I would give you an example of something I came across recently. So I was on X, and then there was this guy that shared a story of the founder of Loom. I actually don't know the company Loom. I might have heard of it before because it sounds familiar, but I can't exactly pinpoint it. Yeah. So I read a blog post of the founder. It was like he's lost, he doesn't know what to do. He's been climbing the Himalayas, mountains. He said something about he's in one country in Asia. Just doing basically nothing. I guess I can't actually remember what he wrote in that blog post. So he was a startup founder, like he founded a company, and the company sold. He sold the company, but guess how much he sold the company for? It's not like 10 million, 50 million, it's not even $1 million. He sold that company for $975 million. I've forgotten the company that bought. Um, I've forgotten the company that made the acquisition, but then he sold that company for $975 million, and he was also given an offer to stay in the company for $60 million a year. He said he was skeptical if he was going to take that offer or not. I don't know if he has taken the offer or not. But then, like, you look at that kind of money and like, how can you tell me that you got that kind of money and you don't know what you want to do with your life? Like right now, it's kind of lost, and I have a feeling that he would later figure it out that he would just wants to create like good product and stuff, and he might eventually just go back to just creating another product, or something like that. Or maybe he has passion for other things. But like the main idea here is that keep what's making you money close to what you like. In the event that, I mean, everybody wants to make a lot of money. Yes, now they don't need to make so much money. They don't need to be working so much hours for money. And I'm talking in the in the belief that I would work to an extent someday that I don't need to work anymore for money, or like I don't need to be actively working anymore for money. No. So I'm talking about myself. I don't know if you want to be working to your 90 or whatever. But like, when if money isn't an object, I will still be doing what I'm doing right now. But the question is for you. If money wasn't an object, would you still be doing what you are doing right now? Or would you be doing something similar? Will you be doing something entirely different? And now that you've made that realization, can you merge the both of them together? You don't have to work together. I don't have to be creating. Like, look at me now. I'm a programmer. I create content. I don't have to create content on programming or tech. I can do both of them different. I can create content on life, and I can program different stuff. I can program whatever product that does not pertain to life. You could do two different things, but you just have to be able to, put them together and like, okay, I'm doing this today, I'm doing this tomorrow, I'm doing this in the morning, I'm doing this in the night. So that's just something I just wanted to clarify. Like, there's the monetary aspect of like, you need to eat, you need to live, you need to buy stuff, you need to buy stuff for things you like to do. You get like if you like to play table tennis, you like to buy like maybe like a table tennis board, or like travel and see table tennis championships or whatever. You still need money for that, even though it's something like you like, right? But like I said, money is actually required to live your best life. Money is an enabler. Money is something that you really need. I used to think back when I was 16 and 17 that I don't need money, I just need to create stuff, I just need to impact the world. And yes, I still believe that to an extent. To an extent, I would tell myself now that money is actually very important. I'm, I'm literally just stressing about money. Like before I recorded this, I was having this stress about money. Like, I'm going to go broke very soon. And then like the universe will sort itself out, sure. But then like I still have to, you know, look at it. I like 2 years ago, I would not have been thinking about it. I'd be thinking about like, don't worry, I didn't need to make money. I just need to make impact. And yes, you need to make impact, but you also need to make money. And that's why the title of this podcast is Money and Legacy. Like they go hand in hand together. You need to, you merge them together. Shake hands and stuff or whatever. So, there's this question of like, okay, let me read it for you guys. A friend of mine died recently, and I started to question the idea of leaving something behind. Yeah, so the money aspect, I already talked about the money aspect, and now the legacy aspect of what I was thinking about. So I was thinking about it like people that die, what did they actually leave behind? You're working, you're trying to hustle or whatever. Like the people that listen to my podcast from my demographic or from the analytics that I actually don't check, or most of the time I just look at it, they usually are very young people. So I'll say like 18 to 30. So the people that listen to this podcast are like 18 to 30, right? And now, just imagine, what our generation is in this hustle culture of like, you have to bomb, you have to make money, you have to like, you have to hustle and stuff. So the question is, if you die today, if I die today, what do I leave behind? Or like, what's my legacy? Let's say I die today, I have like some money in my bank account, whatever. The money will finish very fast, to be honest, because I mean they'll have to bury me. But then, like, what else? What else do I leave behind? Do I leave behind notes? Do I leave behind memories? I mean, people leave behind memories. Like, you remember this person until you don't remember the person. Like, my grandma died in 2013. I remember maybe because I was very young. I was very young. I wasn't close to her, to be honest. I was a very young scotch, so we didn't really have any interpersonal relationship, I would say. But I remember once in a while, like once in a blue moon, she just pops up in my mind. And that's the same thing for people, even people that haven't died. People like some of my friends, like people I haven't talked to in a while. I'm just sitting and I'm like, huh, what happened to this person? What happened to that person? I hope that person's fine. Stuff like that. But like that is like living memories. You would remember the person once in a while. I remember Joshua. Joshua died. Uh, was it this time last year, like January last year? I remember Joshua. I remember him. I wrote something about him about what he leave behind. I had like two or three write ups, like not dedicated to Joshua per se, but like inspired by Joshua because Joshua was a friend of mine, and then we stayed together in hostel doing a pretty great program in 2021. Yeah, uh, it was a very nice guy. It was someone I looked up to that time, and I was like 16 at that time. Joshua was like 2 years older than me, but like he just had this mature aura, and I was like, what? I like Joshua. I like Joshua. I want to be like Joshua. I just liked how he was very composed. Maybe just maybe that's what made me who I am today. Just from I won't say that's what made me who I am today, but like his influence was very important to my character development. And he died last year. Was it last year or like 2 years ago? Last year, definitely last year. Around this early of the year. Yeah. I have some stuff dedicated to him, and I'll drop it there, something about like what do you leave behind and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it begs the question of like, I'm sorry for don't you guys. Like, it begs the question of, is it just memory? Because I remember Joshua. Not too fondly. I remember him once in a while. But other than that, like, I'm very busy with what I'm doing, right? And if you had a podcast, or if you had write ups, or if you had the products you created, or if you had pictures or whatever, you know, I would look at it more often than just memories. Like, let's say Michael Jackson. People that knew him personally will not remember him by memory. You remember him by his music, but like his videos, like his concerts or whatever. As much as memories are important, you still need to leave something behind, something material, something that people can reference you for. You don't have to build one crazy ass product, or like do something crazy, or like write one New York Times best selling book. I mean, every book at this point is a New York Times best selling book. Let me look at this book I'm reading, The Way of the Superior Man, international bestseller. I have like 5 books or 7 books in front of me. They're all bestsellers, are international bestsellers and everything. You don't have to write that for you to remember. But like, there's this stuff about marriage I heard about recently, was that the reason why people marry is not because like based on love, but it's because of you being a witness. So I'm marrying you because I want to witness your life. I want to be You are special enough for me to witness your life. I want to witness your highs and your lows. And at the end of the day, when you're about to lay on your deathbed, and you think that your life was wasted, I will remind you that your life was not wasted and you were actually cared about because I witnessed your life. So I might be fumbling the whole narrative here about the marriage stuff or what I learned, but it's about like people seeing what you did here and what you learned and everything. I rambled about money, so I'm rambling now about legacy and how leaving something behind, no matter how intangible it is very important. It might not be, you might not, the whole world might not know who you are, but like your close people, your close relatives, or like your close friends or whatever, would remember you better, than just memories or like just pictures. You have something tangible. Like now, if I die, when I die, because I know I will die at some point, you know, and somebody's missing me so much, and they hear this podcast episode whenever in 20 whatever whatever, and they're like, wow, it was so full of life. Joel was an intellectual and this and that. Like, I'm gassing myself up right now, but then I think you understand the point where like they'll have something to hold on to, and not only them but the world at large will have something to hold on to. So don't be the kind of person that existed just like you just existed in pictures and existed in people's memories. Be the kind of person that existed in raw facts. People could set you up. People could just imagine somebody holding your raw thoughts in paper. That is very important. Like somebody looking at that email, like people getting emails of your intellectual pondering. It's surreal. Like something you actually sit down to appreciate. Like, and it's really amazing. You need to create something for yourself other than just memories, and you need to. I believe that everybody in this world is built for something great. So like you might not be the greatest in the whole world, but at least you'll be great somewhere. And like you have to leave something behind. Yes, I remember the episode. I remember the not the episode, the write up, the blog post. What do you leave behind? I think that's the title. And then there are like two more that I talked with Israel and some of that stuff about like what does death mean to you and some of that stuff. Sure, but like yeah. What are you on this earth for? I know we all want to live our best life, but we have that existential feeling of leaving something behind. Hence, statues, monuments, commemorations, attributions, creations. It's I might be talking from my own perspective of leaving something behind, but we as humans have always felt the need to leave something behind. That's why people have statues and like people have monuments and history books and references. Everybody wants to be remembered. Everybody wants to leave something behind. So I'm not just talking from my perspective. It's like an existential human need to exist beyond self. People wouldn't risk anything if they wouldn't be remembered for it. Like, why would I feel the need to break the 100 meters world record if nobody remember me for it, to like reference me for it? That's the reason why people break records like that. Maybe to feel good or whatever, but to also be remembered, to be in the history books. As that's like a legacy for you to leave something behind. So on the surface, people might do stuff for other people, other things out of curiosity or more, but the underlying factor of why people create stuff, why people do stuff, is to persist after they no longer exist. So yeah, I wrote that, and which is true. Everybody wants to persist after they no longer exist. So I know you might be listening to this and I'm like, man, Jabba is speaking pure facts here. So, I know I'm speaking pure facts. If you don't agree with it, then you don't agree with it, but I know it's pure fact. So, rounding it up, both of these are important and there needs to be a level of balance between them. Like I said, money is important. Money is very, very important, to be honest, but legacy is also important too. I don't know which is more important. I don't know which is more important. People might say money is more important. People might say legacy is more important. I will leave you to decide. But I feel personally, for me, that both of them are equally important. I know if you have money, you probably die. You starve. You need to eat. You don't want to be a starving artist that'll be begging people around for like food or whatever. You also need money to get what you need to create a legacy. Like you're an athlete, you need to like get your training regiment or whatever. But I digress. I actually digress. My own opinion is money and legacy are both important in life. So you need to make money and you need to immortalize yourself. And I won't sit here and tell you to drop one for the other. Take both of them in stride. And you personally will know how to balance both of them for yourself at different aspects of your life. So that was it. It's been years since I've recorded an episode. My phone's about to die. I think I probably cut out, but like it's been years since I've recorded an episode. And I feel pretty good about this one. I don't know how it's going to sound because the last one I recorded recently, like for the first 6 minutes, was very, very bad. But yeah, it's been a while talking to you guys. And it's really nice to, pour out my heart content, my mind's content, my soul's content, my book's content. I don't even know, man. Like, just nice to share something, and add to my ever-growing legacy footprint. Add to my ever-growing legacy footprint. So the question would be, what would you add to your own legacy footprint? So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope it's something you learned from. I hope it's something that you actually thought about, like gave you a very good thought process or whatever. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on my journey and everything. I appreciate you. I've been getting a lot of emails. A lot is just to like 2 people have unsubscribed from my Substack. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm feeling like, is my content good? I know my content is good, to be honest. I don't doubt it, but like I'm like, why did they unsubscribe from my Substack? Will I say I feel bad? I don't feel bad. I just feel like, wow, they're actually living. So thank you guys for people that still stick. And people take people. Oh my God. Thank you to everyone that still listens to my podcast. Thank you to everyone that watches my videos, and comments, and even though I reply comments like 1 week later, my apologies. Thank you to everyone that looks at my pictures and likes them, but not only like you like the pictures, but like you look at the pictures and you feel some inner connection with them. That's the reason why I take pictures. I like to take pictures that I feel inner connection with. I don't have a lot of pictures. I've not been taking a lot of pictures recently. I don't know why. Maybe I'll get back to it. You never know. But like, thank you to everyone that reads my articles, like my blog posts, and then they kind of relate to it, or they relate it to their life and learn something from it, which is very important. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone. I love you all very, 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 very much. If you even make it this far, because most people don't make it this far, but thank you to anyone that makes it this far right now or in the next 10, 20, 30 years, if they still even persist. So thank you for that. And I guess I would see you on the next episode or blog post or picture or quotes or whatever. Yeah, take care. Bye.